and gentlemen, we got the most hype play of tonight. Routes fixing his internet and coming back to join UT Dallas. Wait, no, to join George Mason. We've actually swapped sides. And oh boy, I'm excited to see him back.
Yeah, I think him being back will definitely help their win condition. But I think for either team to win, it's really going to be jungle. As much as all of the other laners are great, it's been, I think, the Firefly show pretty much all early game.
Yeah. And when you say win condition, do you just mean having 5 members?
Yeah, having 5 members typically helps you win.
Yeah, so time will tell if Rout's internet holds up. But anyways,
and this time
George
we have a Morgana ban, so it's not going to be played by either team this time.
From George Mason, you have the Olaf banned away, the Azir and the Zac banned away. And then from UT Dallas, you have the Swain, Trundle, and Morgana banned away. And personally, I'm glad to see the Swain banned away because I'm not a fan of that champion, but that's besides the point. Enrique is going to be playing Xayah this champion, so I'm expecting to see Rakan picked up in these next 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Skarner will also be picked. Although I'm not sure if Faith really plays it. It doesn't look like he has shown too much priority on it. Although, yeah, there's the Skarner that he's going to pick.
Which is really good because Firefly has been disgusting on that Skarner. Every time he's gotten the opportunity, always popping off. He's getting in the back lines and he's doing good work. So I'm not shocked to see Faith taking that away from him.
And the traditional counters to it, Olaf and Trundle, have been both banned, so that just makes it all the better. And it's Tom Kench hover, which...
Oh no, Tom Kench!
Tom Kench is also just really good into Skarner and everything.
Yeah, granted, I don't think he's going to be in the jungle, but... No, you're absolutely right. Once Skarner just tries to drag somebody kicking and screaming away from their team, Tom Kench can just swallow him and keep him out of the fight. So I think that's definitely a good pick. And Route pulling out the Victor, really can't say too much about it because we really only got to see it played once a series. And
the Zed shows up as the counter pick.
Zed, okay.
So
interesting.
If I were in this game, I'd probably start banning AP top laners then, because they're going to have an issue with damage all being AD. So I'd expect potentially like Rumble and Vlad bans, although Rumble not as much.
He did recently get buffed, as did Nocturne, which makes sense. Ezreal banned away. I can see Ezreal being good to ban.
Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Kench went like unsealed or something to be able to take cleanse later in the game to make sure that he can get the priority targets that are being ulted on.
Yeah. You see the Jax banned away from Firefly too, which personally I think is a very wise decision. He was he really is the reason that they won that game last game. Which makes sense.
Yeah. Jax is also just generally a snowbally champion, so that early invade with the kill really helped seal the deal there.
Even though Route was disconnected the whole time, but hey, they still won. I think it's just a new strategy. You bait them in with all the summoner has disconnected. I think Korea is bound to use that soon.
And Kai'Sa was picked up, which Xayah's an easier lane than Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn's definitely her worst lane, so she won't be pressured as much. Yeah, to play into as Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just because Caitlyn or Xayah doesn't have as much range, so Kai'Sa will have an easier time CSing.
And then Shen and Sejuani to fill out the team. It's going to be a pretty tanky team. I expect to see a lot of front-to-back team fights, and if that happens, Tom Kench, Sedge, and Shen are just never going to really die.
Malphite.
Malphite,
Nice.
Malphite
I
does
love
have some
Malphite.
interesting builds that he can do to help bring in some AP like damage into the team. So
Yeah, and as of 8.7, his E got buffed to have a 0.6 ability power ratio. His ultimate got, I think, 20 seconds? Yeah, no, it's 20 seconds. Taken off of the cooldown in late game. So Malphite is a very exciting pick.
yeah, and the 20 seconds for Malphite is actually really big because Malphite's one of those
Yeah.
champions that once he has ult, you're always looking to fight.
Mhm.
Although you might not get it, as soon as it's up, you're looking to fight. It's kind of like Ornn in that sense, so that getting reduced time is really important.
You know,
Whereas some other champions, it's not as important. Like Shen, slightly shorter cooldown, not too big of a deal.
and with the Malphite, with the Rakan, God save us all. This is the only time I'm ever gonna. I would have rather seen Yasuo playing because I'm not a fan of the Zed pickup. It just kind of seems out of place with the rest of the team who are trying to have DPS and trying to lay down damage over time. The Zed's all about burst and getting onto the back line, but really, there's not a whole lot of back line on George Mason. I mean, they have the Zaya and the Victor, but they have so many tanks to get through before they can do that.
Yeah, but this with their team comp with the Zed, the backline has a potential that even with Tom Kenjin, the tanks, to just get deleted regardless of what they try to do. Because Kai'Sa can even join in on the backline if Malphite ults.
Mhm.
And Rakan will always want to be there.
Yeah. But personally, I think Yasuo. You have the Malphite knockups and the Rakan knockup.
I do think Yasuo probably would have been a better pick with the team, but I also think that X-Case definitely is pretty good on Zed compared to his Yasuo.
Yeah, some people in chat are referencing X-Case's Zed, so I guess it is world renowned, and X-Case has one of the best Zeds in North America. But time will tell. Zed, Victor, neither of these champions really seem. Personally, I don't think either of them have a stone or like. It's not really set in stone that the matchup is going to go this way or that way.
I do think Shen
But I'm not sure.
wins into Malphite, though. He wins into a lot of tanks. And then Skarner will have a lot more early pressure than Sejuani. She kind of wants to just farm till 6. So Skarner has the early pressure there, and he has the fast to clear, too. Zed and Victor, I think Victor pretty much wins that till 6, and if Zed can't get a kill very early, I think Victor just continues to win that.
I want to go back to the jungle. I really think that pre-6 or really until really late game, Fire or Sejuani is going to be more beneficial to the team than Skarner. Because even without ultimate, I think Sejuani is still able to get into the fight and get into a gank and gank effectively. Just because you have the dash, you have the knockup, you have the stun with the passive. I really think that Sejuani is going to be more effective early game, but once it comes down to invading, I think Faith would be more effective, or Faith Skarner would be more effective.
Yeah, although Skarner does have the faster stun in the gank with just his slow thing and auto.
Yeah, that's true.
But bot lane is the interesting one because Tom Kench actually has quite a bit of poke with his Q, and so what I think will probably happen is Rakan will start maxing Q, at least put a couple points into it early to help with the poke. And Kai'Sa, if she can position well, I think she can easily play into Zaya. As long as she's dodging the feathers, and Kai'Sa's W is also a lot of poke, so that and positioning so that she might be able to get someone with her Q as well when she's using it on minions. I think she definitely has the possibility to do well in this lane. And Tom Kench, from loading screen, I can see has unsealed. So I do think he might take the cleanse later so that if he gets CC'd by like Rakan ult, he can cleanse out of it to save Xayah or Victor.
Yeah. So I think with UTD, it seems to me that their team composition is incredible at snowballing. You have the Zed, you have the Kai'Sa. Both of these champions. Oh, XCase. That's his problem now, not the other mid laner. But I think with the Kai'Sa and with the Zed, if either of those champions can get far ahead, then they can get far ahead, and they're able to dominate the game. But the problem is, if they get behind, then they get really, really far behind, especially against Xayah or kind of Victor, who are able just to benefit off of winning by a little bit.
Yeah. And eventually Victor, if he goes the high mana build, which is Archangels with his Hex Core and Lichbane, he can actually pretty much shield himself for his entire health bar. So that'll help to negate a lot of the Zed all in on him too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Johns, wait a second. Hold on, your items. Hey, the Johns, you forgot your items. No, go back. You forgot your items. What are you doing?
It's just a bait.
No.
It's clearly just a bait.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're gonna see him without their items, or without his items, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, clearly we're already gonna win."
It looks like he just realized now as soon as he got the blue buff.
Yeah, and now he's gonna back, but doesn't seem like there's gonna be any cheese in the early game. Oh, doesn't want to buy Doran's shield. Never mind. Buys the blade and starts to walk out. So no cheese invade. We're gonna be good.
I don't think you necessarily need Dorans into that lane. As Xayah will be able to poke you and whatnot, but and Tahm Kench, but it's not enough that I think it'd be warranting a Doran's shield over a blade. Although for Xayah, I do think it's a little bit more important.
Dude, that Sejuani skin is really cool. I just want to point that out. But back. Oh, come on, get that Skarner pillar. There you go, Keen. Back to more relevant matters. You got Faith and Will Win starting on the red buff on the red side, and then you're gonna see the bottom lane Firefly starting on their red buff.
Might harass him a little bit. No, never mind. He's just making sure to get vision of it and slow the Skarner start by getting the Spire.
Yeah, Ione.
That's pretty smart play from him because he's not going to be doing anything anyways in the lane prior to Malphite really getting there.
Yeah, it's really a boring lane in top lane. Neither of these champions are, they're not going to be killing each other a whole lot. I shouldn't say that too soon because Ione finished with tied for the first most amount of kills last game, so I shouldn't speak too soon.
Yeah, and actually getting that Spire has pretty much made the clears the same speed for Skarner and Sedge, which Skarner normally should be much faster. In fact, I think Sedge is a little bit farther ahead, but she's not going for a full clear.
I wanna air my personal grievances with. Right now, as the masteries stand, personally, I don't feel like he has a great mastery. Like, the best mastery that he can take is Grasp of the Undying, I think. But really, that doesn't feel... No, for Malphite.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But really, I feel like that's just still a little bit out of his play style. I
don't know,
I think Malphite needs a rework, to be honest.
I think Grasp is really good for lane for pretty much any tank, but Aftershock, I think, goes well with him. Because he'll have the passive like shield buff, which gives him armor, which then gets buffed from Aftershock.
The only problem
actually, never mind, that got changed.
Oh, hold that thought. Will Win getting ganked. 3 members up in the top lane. First blood going over to Ione. All he took was his flash. Not too much to say. I mean, great roam by Route and great setup with Firefly there. But really, I mean, it was just Will Win getting killed. Anyways, sorry, like I was saying, while people do say the Aftershock would be good on him, the only problem is that when his ultimate is at level 1, he's really gonna he doesn't have any hard CC other than his ultimate. And at level 1, it has a 123-second cooldown.
Yeah, that is a fair point. He wouldn't really be able to effectively use it too often. And the repeat
Oh
gank top
no!
lane.
Firefly coming back in. Leave the man alone. Ione laying down the damage. Firefly coming in, trying to flash, gets the flash out, lives with a sliver of health, but now he's going to be denied this next 2 waves of CS just because he does not have teleport.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
going
is-
to really hurt the Malphite. Not having the teleport to get back so early is... It just really hurts to have to see that.
Yeah, and he backs with 95 gold, so he doesn't even have enough items to buy, or enough gold to buy anything else. So, great repeat gank by Firefly, but come on, you gotta feel a little bad for Wilwin. The good news is, I don't think Ione is going to be able to push the wave in fast enough to deny Wilwin the CS. In fact,
Although-
I actually think Wilwin is going to be able to deny him
Yeah,
some
he's just
CS.
freezing it. So...
Yeah, that's true. Oh, X-Case going in deep, the exhaust comes, Ignite is already there, flashing out his roots, and X-Case, all he burns is his Ignite for the enemy's mid laner's sums. Very good trade in his part, on his part.
And Faith did a good job to make sure that he wasn't falling behind and doing some vertical jungling.
Oh, Faith? Yeah, speaking of, coming up top lane, maybe looking for a dive. I highly recommend you don't dive a Shen, especially with a Malphite who does not have damage. Yeah, there you go, walk away, walk away.
He was mostly just there to make sure that Malphite could get the wave all the way in to reset it, so that he doesn't get ganked again by Sejuani.
Yeah, and you see him going for some deep vision. Right now, in the bottom lane, there's a huge CS discrepancy in favor of the Johns. Enrique is 8 CS down, with only 1 more wave coming in. So 6 CS, whole wave down. The Johns is doing a very excellent job of zoning him off, which really I don't think should be happening. You're playing Xayah against a Kai'Sa, you have more range. You should be able to zone Kai'Sa off.
Yeah, except
Why do you
Kai'Sa
think
can
that is?
force the issue onto you with, you know, the junglers aren't going to be there to help. Like,
Mhm.
you know Skarner's not top lane, right? And Sejuani's up there and won't be able to help you. So, you really have to just forfeit the pressure, because Skarner's just going to gank you otherwise. So it's just
Okay,
respect in the matchup.
Speaking of respect in the matchup, Firefly coming down in the mid or into the bottom lane, but now Sand United come. Now Faith is coming in to join the fight as well, and oh, Route shortly after is going to be dying. Faith flashing away from Ione. Let's see if he's able to escape. Come on, come down, Will win. Nah, he's not coming down. Faith is speedy, quick, and is able to escape the grasp of Ione. So that is going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane in favor. Well, not in anyone's favor, but yeah, both mid lanes dying, and yeah, there you go.
And more kills for Shen.
Yeah,
Shen
once again, Ione with 2 kills already.
he's just going to become a split push monster the longer this game goes on, and this is just making it faster.
Or maybe he's just gonna pop off like last game and get 9 kills. Time will tell.
Yeah, I think there's nothing you can really do as Malphite when it's this far behind.
Yeah, as a level 6 Malphite. No, I've played a bit of Malphite in my time, and I don't claim to be a Malphite pro, but once you start losing a lane, it gets so. The enemy is just able to keep all the CS away from you. You can't really do anything about it because in order to CS, you have to get close. You do have the cheese wheel of death, but really, it's not going to be enough to save your CS.
Yeah, which is just the nature of melee versus melee. As soon as someone gets far enough ahead, they can just keep you from getting to any of the CS.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Oh wow, very good trade by Routes Health. I think I'm lagging a bit.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. All right.
Shen's going in for a nice wet noodle fight top lane.
Yeah. Neither of these champions have damage to apply to the other person. Malphite. Oh, in the bottom lane you do have Faith. You're in the middle lane. Faith coming in. Route getting deleted instantly. Now Firefly getting Faith underneath the tower, gonna get a return kill, and maybe look for more. Doesn't have the movement speed to catch up to XK, so he retreats underneath his tower.
And it's just the junglers getting everything.
Yeah,
Or the people come to mid lane and it's just free gold, I guess.
basically. You get to mid lane and it's pretty much just been a bloodbath there so far. I believe every death but Will Wins Malphite has occurred in the mid lane.
Yeah. And neither of the mid laners have a kill from it too, so they're just having to deal with just everyone just wanting in on some of this gank gold.
Mm-hmm. Now I know that in recent patches, Duskblade got nerfed. Do you think building it or rushing it immediately on Zed, do you think that's still a viable option?
I think it still is, because his ult will still give it to him.
Mhm.
So you'll be able to get the Duskblade proc with his ult, which just gives more damage for the ult. I think it's still worthwhile.
Okay, and he's still... I mean, really, he's 600 gold ahead right now. He's got very good CS lead over Route right. So I think
he can definitely all in Victor if Victor's not careful.
Speaking of all-inning, Will Win going so spotting out Firefly and Route, goes as an unstoppable force and manages to escape that one. That's a pretty important cooldown that he just used. That ultimate, like I said, 130 seconds, rank 1.
Yeah.
Still very long, even though they did put it down a little bit.
It just means that you really can't do anything to this Shen, at least for 120 seconds, and I'm not sure you can really do anything after that.
Yeah, I think if you get Skarner to gank top lane, if you get the Malphite getting his full combo off with ultimate, Skarner does have the damage as well as Malphite to take him out. But, you know, you can't really do that without Malphite ultimate. But, damn it, Will Win is trying his best. He's not really winning the lane, though.
Yeah, the Shen just provides so much damage to tanks, and the shield from his passive just allows him to trade so effectively into him. He's also got the completed Sunfires to just the Bambi Cinder, so these wet noodle fights are just going to continuously go in his way with just the overtime burn damage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Skarner's invading the Sedge's top jungle and is going to get collapsed on.
Yeah, he's not in a great spot right now. He's stuck into the Rift Herald pit. Now Shelly's coming in,
first,
defending him a little bit.
The Zed winning his lane is really what saved him there, because Zed could roam first.
Absolutely. And now we're back to a neutral spot in the game.
And
400 gold lead in favor of.
It looks like Skarner's going to start this dragon, or come bot lane. Yeah, and they're going to start the mountain dragon right here. Just there's nothing else to really do on the map for them, so might as well just get it while you have no one else.
Mm-hmm.
And the Shen's ult is up, so and there's no TP.
Yeah.
I'd expect them to try to fight and make use of the lack of TP, because even if Shen ults down and nothing happens, he can always TP back up top.
Yeah, now you got. Oh no! Getting deleted in the mid lane once again. Well, better route dies than his router, right? And now Enrique in the bottom lane getting Stand United cast, but now Will Win. Flashing is both of them. And now Will Win getting taken out Ione. And now Faith is trying to escape. Teleport coming in from Ione, but the John takes out Enrique. Keen is trying to get his way out, as well as the John. Splash from Firefly is getting the damage out onto the John. She's going to die. And now on the back line, you got Faith who dies as well. Ione is on a rampage, ladies and gentlemen. And that is going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of George Mason University.
Yeah, that was just chaos all around the map, and being Shen, he can just provide help anywhere. The double TP is just so nice to have, even if one gets cancelled, just fight the Malphite and then TP afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels real bad to be Malphite in this matchup.
It does. Really, I think Malphite's kind of a useless champion because all he has is his ultimate, and beyond that, I mean, what is he gonna do? Really nothing. Slow down your ADC's attack speed maybe, but that's really giving him a lot of credit. But Shen is a great champion. He has engage, he has defense.
At this moment, I think Sion's just a better Malphite in almost every way.
Yeah! Yeah, I agree.
Because Sion wins pretty much almost all matchups, and then he's got his ult, which is basically a Malphite ult.
Yeah, Keen popping the quickness, getting the knockup onto Route. Route once again getting taken out. Oh, he's 0-4.
Meanwhile, John's is being dove bot lane.
Alex is trying to tank tower, but the Ignite goes through. The Johns doesn't have the health. Enrique takes him out. 1-for-1 trade across the map.
These pretty much global ultimates with the teleports are really playing in their favor. They're just able to move around the map so effectively and pick up all the kills. And Faith's coming bot lane. He's trying to do something to
bots out Enrique and Alex. Keen. No quickness available, but forces the flash out of Alex.
And that's just going to really not going to do anything.
Ion and we will win.
We'll waiting it out really until they can push towers.
Yeah. Right now, Will Win is having such time. He's 2 levels behind. He's actually managing to keep up in CS pretty well, but I mean, it still doesn't matter. Like, you're still Malphite, and you're still what is that? 2,000? Yeah, 2,000 gold behind
the red buff.
And now he's gonna lose his tower. First tower is gonna be going over to George Mason.
But it looks like
they're and now the Global Force connecting onto 2 members. I'm lagging out, so I can't see what's going on.
It's going to be...
Now, full-blown team fight is breaking out. Faith is still looking to get up by Route, and now the quickness coming out as well. XK's taking out routes, and now they're looking for more. XK's looking for Ione, and now the John teleporting into the fight. Flash forward from XK's getting a kill onto Ione. And that is going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of UT Dallas this time. We're finally getting some mileage off of that Zed. 2-1-4. Really, not gonna lie, really more effective than Routes than his Victor. But in his defense, I could very well see the argument that Route is still laggy. So we'll just go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt there.
I doubt that. It looks, from what I understood, he moved to another house that was nearby that was going to fix that issue, or something of the sort.
Oh, well, yikes, there goes the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, X-Case has been performing phenomenally. He's been able to keep that CS lead. 60 CS is really important, especially when you're also not dying as much, and you're still getting kills, so he's almost 2,000 gold ahead of Route right now.
He's pretty much what's keeping them afloat. Like, the gold lead would be so much further if he wasn't that far ahead of his laner.
Yeah, so on George Mason, you have Ione, who's popping off, but then you also have Route, who's not. And then on UT Dallas, it's the exact opposite. Will Win is having a tough game, whereas X-Case is really doing well.
On the bright side, Will Win's really not giving over much gold at all. He's just dealing with the fact that he has a losing match, and we have a fight in the bottom jungle.
Oh yeah, the quickness coming out as well as the flash and grand entrance and teleportation coming in from Ione, but the top of the force does cancel it now. Enrique's the backside. Alex used Q, and now the suppression is coming through from Faith onto Firefly, who's very far back into the back line, and now the Johns is going to be picking up the kill. Credit for that one, and now in the top lane, you got Ione just... I mean, you got Ione pushing in minion waves into the tower.
Yeah, and it's...
Good fight by UT Dallas.
It was nice that the Shen TP got canceled there. That could have gone really poorly if the Shen was able to show up.
And here's the thing. Right now, oh wait, actually UT Dallas is ahead. So with the two laners that are feeding on each team, Will Win is feeding in. Well, they're feeding. You can't say. But Will Win is feeding into Ione, and Ione's on a Shen. I mean, what's he gonna do? He's gonna get more health, and right now he's building a Ravenous Hydra, which is gonna give him a little more damage, but really more health. But Route is giving a lot of gold over to XCase, who's playing Zed. And if you give Zed gold, what happens is you lose an ADC, because your ADC just gets exploded anytime they show up on the map in a team fight.
Yeah, and the thing with Zed is, if he gets enough damage, he can pretty much one-shot even through the Tahm Kench. If he ults and Tahm Kench isn't there to immediately do it, his combo is just enough for them to die in the stomach of Tahm Kench. So the Tahm Kench has to be right on top of his carries if he wants to stop the Zed from getting a whole bunch of kills in these fights.
Yeah.
And the Shen's actually providing a lot of split push pressure. And with his ult, he can really...
War is coming on to Route, but now the Sand United's coming in as well. But meanwhile, on the backside, Alex is coming in. Well, actually not a team fight breaking out. Both teams are just kind of showing themselves on the map, giving a little pressure. Wait, who got that Rift Scuttler? Anyways, the Flash is forced out of Faith, and now the fight is breaking up. Suppression is going to land onto Ione, who's getting his health deleted, but now Alex taking him out of the fight with his W, and now everybody's trying to get the damage. Is coming in big. The quickness, the Grand Enter's coming in. XCase gets a kill onto Route again, and now Firefly getting taken out by the Johnson. Now Enrique looking for a kill, does not find anything with his E, and then the team fight is going to be done.
That was so close for several members of both teams. The Shen barely made it out of there thanks to the Tahm Kench, but I think both of them had to burn their flash right there. And Malphite also barely made it out, but on the bright side, he got to keep his flash.
Wait, what is he doing right now? Did he... Malphite, you're really low. I think you should back right now, pal.
He should be fine for this next wave. She'll probably back, reset, and head bot to help with pressure with Baron.
You know, actually, I think he's not backing. He knows that all of the members of George Mason are going to be backing off and going to be resetting, so he's going to be safe to push in another wave. So, my apologies, Caster being incorrect. When has that ever happened, right?
That could never happen. It looks like it's just going to be a Baron dance for a while, unless Skarner decides to try to make a play on somewhere else. Everyone's just setting up to be able to clear waves and everything, so that they can get vision in the Baron pit. Although I'd give the favor over to Shen in the split push, which means a long Baron dance is really going to benefit him the most.
Yeah.
And he's going to get this tower bot lane.
He doesn't care about the tower damage. Yeah, he's literally underneath the turret. That's just flexing. But now,
meanwhile, top lane.
Suppression is coming through, and now the quickness into the Great Edge once again, and now everybody damage is going through, and now Route taking out Enrique, and he does not find anything. But now more kills are coming through from UT Dallas, and now Alex seems to be the last member. Enrique running away as fast as possible, but the Johns gets a double kill. Now, meanwhile, in top lane, Unstoppable Force is going to be used by Will Win, but this is going to be a 5v1 situation, and UT Dallas are going to be able to take this Baron without any contest from George Mason.
Yeah, it's really just the Shen being locked up by the Malphite that he wasn't able to help join. And the Kai'Sa is also just so good at cleaning up these team fights with the ult, being able to get to the backline when they get low. As well as the Skarner can just ult one of the tanks and they can just decide to kill him right then. The Skarner ult's just so effective in so many different ways. You can get a carry or just pull in a tank. And the Zed, he's just deleting everyone.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying. He's got 3 completed items, and personally I'm a big fan of the LDR that he's built, just because of the amount of health and armor on the enemy team between Ione, Firefly, and Alex. All of them have so much health, so that LDR will help mitigate some of the health they have.
Yeah.
It helps just cut them down more.
Yes, I also bought the Ninja Tabi, so that'll help make the armor lower for the lethality to just effectively give her no armor, even though she built an armor item.
Yeah.
And
no, absolutely. She's gonna have a tough time surviving once XK's just pushes R and a couple other buttons on to him. Really, the only thing that will keep Enrique alive is going to be Alex on Tom Kench. You say, oh crap, this Zed is using all of his abilities on me, and then Alex just comes in and says, hey, be safe, small child, I am here for you. And then you're safe.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things with building a whole bunch of lethality and whatnot like that is, oh, hold on.
Oh yeah, you see Faith going in for Enrique, who's forced to ulti and flash out. Now Alex is a bit out of position, but it doesn't matter. He's still on catch. He has health. And now the Baron empowered minions are there, and Firefly comes in, pressures Faith and Keen out of there, and now will win. Finally caught up in levels to Ione, not Joan, but unfortunately not caught up in gold, which is I think more important.
Yeah, but as I was saying, with lethality and whatnot, armorers actually, you can have negative armor, which isn't the case with MR. So having lethality is just so good if you can get them, use it on low armor champions.
Yeah. Oh, the split push is so powerful right now. Tier 1 turret falls in the bottom lane of George Mason.
And the Zed just destroyed.
Oh my god! XK's the leading route!
I thought the Zed ban was a little bit questionable, but it was definitely warranted in that previous game.
That's what happens when your Victor goes 1-8, 1-7 at that point. The Zed just pushes R, pushes E, pushes Q, then you're dead.
Well, the Zed didn't even R for that kill. It was just his shadow and his Q and W that killed him. He has so much damage. And the Kaisa is going the Death Dance build, so she's at a point where she has all 3 upgrades now. So everything's going to be dealing damage. And Quinsus is just so good on her.
Absolutely. Gives you so much attack speed, such good stats.
Yeah, and it buffs the AP and AD on it, which means that she scales with both of them, so it's just so effective on her.
Speaking of builds, what do you think about Faith picking up the QSS?
I think the QSS is kind of important on him. He's the one who always gets like Sedge ulted, right? So him having the QSS there also allows him to make sure he can get onto that back line if he's going for the dive. And it looks like Malphite's pretty much caught up in terms of being able to fight the Shen.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. That was the first trade he's had all game where he didn't immediately lose against the Shen. So, props to Malphite. Granted, fighting in the middle of his minion wave won't help you win the fight, but I mean, he's trying. I like it.
Yeah, the Frozen Heart's a really nice pickup into the Shen.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Meanwhile, there's fights across the map.
Now another suppression coming in onto Enrique, who gets charmed up. The damage isn't there, though. Enrique getting swallowed by Alex. He has double as well. Enrique coming in big. DeJohn's taking out Alex, so now everybody's trying to lay down the damage. DeJohn's still alive, as well as Enrique. But now the Baron empowered minions are coming, or not the Baron empowered anymore, but now the minions are coming in, and the John's going to be able to clean up the tower with his DPS, and all of GMU have to back and reset into the fountain. But now everybody's just kind of, I'm not sure what's going on. Everybody's just using their abilities, not really looking for the engage yet. The inhibitor gets taken down, and now UT Dallas are trying to back off.
Yeah,
2 inhibitor towers, 1 inhibitor get taken out. Now they're finally leaving.
the Kai'Sa's hit a point where she just has so much more damage than Xayah. Not until Xayah finishes her IE will she really be able to provide as much damage as Kai'Sa does. And Kai'Sa's been able to pick up a whole bunch of kills there to just fuel her getting farther ahead than Xayah.
Yeah, 12,000 gold lead in favor of UT Dallas. Granted, they are pretty good at throwing their games. Who said that? I don't know. Baron is going to be spawning right now, and George Mason are getting the control over that global objective. And just now, you're starting to see the UT Dallas members starting to walk down and at least try and contest the vision. Kane got a ward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shen up. Looks like
the Glacial President missing from Firefly, and now Raut's gonna get engaged on by X-Case. The ultimate is there, but he goes golden. X-Case just walks up and pop. There goes him. And now Alex is on the backside getting suppressed, dragged into the enemy team. And John's walking in, laying down the damage, and trying to get a kill onto Alex, but is the damage there? It is. The Johns is now dominating, and that's a double kill for the Johns. 3 members of UT or George Mason down. X-Case retreating, trying to.
It looks like they're trying to end the game.
Base. Right, Enrique is in a bad spot. The ultimate is used, but the grand entrance does not connect. It only hits Ione, but that doesn't really matter. And now the Johns is laying down the damage onto this inhibitor. They put the ward down in case Will Win gets the opportunity to backdoor on Malphite. That's not it. But now they are walking towards Baron and with 3. Oh, the tactical pause coming through. I love it.
It looks like they're going to easily get the Baron. Sedge isn't up for another 18 seconds, so it's pretty much going to be uncontested. And I wish I could go see what dragon's spawning, but you can't actually move the camera while it's paused.
Yeah.
So they probably could have ended there if waves were more in their favor, instead of just getting the one inhib. And we're back into the game.
18 seconds until the Mountain Drake spawns, and now all 5 members of George Mason, of UTD, are piling onto the Baron. They take it without any problem, and now they're going to begin the death march into George Mason's Nexus.
Yeah, all they have to really do is just 5-man bot, get some waves pushing in the other lanes first, and then just wait for the super minions to walk up into the base, because they either deal with the super minions or they lose the turret, or lose a Nexus turret.
And yeah, that's not really a great choice that has to be made.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lose-lose situation in that position. And
they got a death bush going, but they know that the enemy team is going to be on the dragon. I'm not sure what George Mason are trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and the Kai'Sa has a kind of interesting build. She's got a Haunting Guise as well as the Zeal. So
what was that? They were just sitting in the
the Haunting Guise is actually pretty good if she can get into a long fight.
We'll win. They just... Why were they in that bush?
I think they were just waiting for a death bush for if Kai'Sa or something walked over.
I don't think that's a good idea. But anyways, UT Dallas is taking out the inhibitor tower and taking out the inhibitor itself, and now George Mason are backed up against the wall, and like a feral cat, they've just gotta be lashing out, and I am lagging a lot, so...
Oh, and this looks to be the final team fight, as pretty much everyone's just being deleted as soon as they walk anywhere near them.
And
Sai is dying in the fountain.
God, that's a... Oh, man. Well, everybody on George Mason falls, and now UT Dallas take the win. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. We are going into Game 5! The most hyped game of any series. George Mason losing to UT Dallas in Game 4. So we are going into Game 5, and ladies and gentlemen, personally, I just got to say I'm so excited to see the final game between these two amazing teams, and hopefully Route just is able to connect the entire